how to make more money without any kind of college degree or being smart. In this particular post, I'm going to teach you how to have more abundance in your life, how to get to that next level that you've been trying to get to, whether it's 5,000 a month, 10,000, 20, 30, 50, $100,000 a month. And the one thing that is probably stopping you from actually getting there. And this is really not about hustling. It's not about working harder. It's not about grinding. When I figured this one thing out, there's a line in Think and Grow Rich that says, and that abundance and money will come so quick and so fast that you'll be wondering where it was all these lean years. And this has happened to me. And it was because of this one thing that I'm going to share with you in today's lesson. So, a quick backstory before we get into this abundance training and how to make more and how to get to that next level, how to 10x your life. I was not too long ago, before I learned this, I was a struggling dad, a struggling father. I was living in the hood, $500 a month apartment building, and I was just struggling. Just started a family, had 2 kids already, and I was working a job at the mall, making $8 an hour. And I could never figure out how to keep my rent fully paid for it. I was always asking my landlord for extensions, how to keep food in the fridge, how to keep the lights on, these simple things that we do to survive. I couldn't figure out how to do consistently. And so that led me to go into the food bank, that led me to borrowing money, that led me to go into welfare offices to ask for help. And it was really embarrassing as a young man who is now a father to have to do those things. And I was wondering, what am I doing wrong? And then I had a breaking point one day where my wife, a girlfriend at the time, asked me to go get diapers for my baby son. And I remember driving in my 1996 red Dodge Neon, and I went to my bank and realized I had 19 cents in the bank. And I did the next best thing. I called a friend and I borrowed some money. And I went to the little grocery store and I bought some diapers. I bought a little bit of groceries. And I went to my apartment building in the back, in the parking lot. And I just parked and kind of had an out of body experience where I was looking at myself and I was like, what is going on here? I asked myself. I'm young, I'm healthy, I'm somewhat educated. I finished my grade 12 high school diploma. Why am I just struggling so bad? And I was thinking, like, there's people all around me that are living better than me. So there's opportunity all around me. And there's people all around me who have figured it out. They're living a life that I would love to live in, a beautiful home in nicer neighborhoods. I was in a neighborhood where I couldn't even take my kids out. And so I had a draw a line in the sand moment where I was like, this is it. This is enough. I can't do this anymore. And so the only thing I could think about in order to solve this problem was that there was millions of people that were probably in my situation and they figured it out. And at least one of them had to write a book about what they did. And I could get that information. So I remember going inside the apartment building and having a conversation with my wife saying, you know what, we're leaving. We're not going to live. We got to make a change. So I remember we went to the bookstore the next day and I couldn't afford any of the books at the time. Just took books out of there and read them at the bookstore. And there was a couple of books that really stood out to me. It was like Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, The Richest Man in Babylon by George Clason, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. There's all kinds of books that I started reading. And I realized that the big problem I had was not so much my skills, not so much my education, but my relationship with money. My relationship with money was so horrible. I had this very scarcity mind, very poverty mindset. And if you were to talk to me back in the day during the story I'm telling you, my conversation would be about how tough the world is, how tough life is, about the bills I got to pay, about my problems. And myself today, who is very abundant, who can make 80 grand in one day, experiencing things like that, where I'm traveling to Japan, traveling to Paris, fully paid in first class. I would not want to talk to myself back in a day. I couldn't sit there and have a conversation with myself. I just wouldn't want to be in that energy. And so, because I had that energy, when you think of the law of attraction, people think you could just think about something and it'll come to you, but that's not the truth. The truth is, we don't attract what we want, we attract who we are. And back during that time, who I was a very weak minded person who just thought about nothing but struggle because that's how I lived. And my relationship with money was horrible. I really wanted it, yet I thought all kinds of bad things about it. I thought money was evil. I thought that in order to get a lot of money, or the people who had a lot of money, they did bad things. And also, all my experiences I had growing up, there was a lot of poverty experiences, and that was all ingrained in me. And I was taught that it's more important to be happy. It's more important to be grateful. And yeah, I 100% believe that than it is to have money. But I didn't realize at the time that you could be happy and grateful and have a lot of money. It's not an either or. You don't have to choose between these two paths that said, okay, if I'm going to be happy and grateful, then I can't have money. See, these were the beliefs that I had, and this was my relationship with money. So, in order to change how I was living, in order to expand, in order to get to the next level, to give my family a better life, I'm not saying to worship it. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just saying the relationship that I had was more evil, was more bad, and I needed it to pay for rent. I needed it to pay for bills, to put food on the table. And so I had to clean the way I thought about it, is what I'm talking about. The way I perceived it, and realize that this is just a tool. Money is just a tool, that it's just something that I could use for things. I could use it to pay for gas. I could use this tool to take my family on a vacation. I could use this tool to buy a nice, beautiful regalia that I dance with in the powwow world. I could use this tool to create financial stability or financial freedom for me and my family, so we could spend time together, right? This is just a tool that we use. It's not anything else other than that. And so, in order to really do a new relationship with income, I had to do these three things. And these three things I'm going to talk to you about today. So, number one was, every time you get paid, to not spend it all right away. Don't even touch it. See how long you could just sit with money, and just realize that when when you get paid from your job, how immediately do you put your hands on that money and start spending it, right? Because you feel like, okay, it needs to go here. I need to buy groceries. Okay, we don't have food in the fridge. I gotta pay this bill because it's on the last notice. These are the things I was experiencing. And then I realized, as soon as money came, just as quick, it left me, and I was left with nothing. And I had to work again, and then another 2 weeks before I got any kind of money again. And then it would be gone just as fast. And then I realized, in any other relationship, if I had a friend who just showed up but just left right away, and we didn't even get a chance to talk, we didn't even get a chance to visit, that's not really, it's almost like that person doesn't want to be around me. And that's exactly what money was to me. It didn't want to be around me. It went to other people who understood money. And so I started realizing if I could just let it sit, I won't feel so anxious. I won't feel so whatever feeling I was feeling that was negative toward it, and realize that I'm in control, that I could delay me having to pay these bills ASAP and just let it sit and then learn how it feels to have abundance. Learn, even if it's just for a day or two or three. And this little trick helped me to have a better relationship with money, to realize that that it was okay to be in my bank account. It was okay to be in my pocket, and I didn't need to spend it really fast. It didn't have to leave me. And this was a really good experience because as soon as I did this, I realized all of a sudden more money came into my life, and it was so strange. Just because I was able to sit on it. And now I could be where I go do an hour of work, I get paid 5 grand, and that could just sit in my bank account for months. I'm so abundant now that I don't need that because more new money is coming in. And now I deploy it. What sits in my bank account, and then I could deploy it into investments. So it's making even more. And now I got a lot of money sitting with me because it wants to be around me. This is an energy thing, right? It's really cool. So once you get figure out how to delay just spending it, for me, it started off at 1 day, then 2 days, then a week, then 2 weeks, then a month, where I didn't just need to spend it all. I had a surplus. And when I did spend it, I didn't spend it right to zero, and just having it be able to sit with me, help me improve my relationship with money. The second thing, secret, and these are in no particular order, by the way. The second thing is to reevaluate what you learned about money. This is a huge thing. Who taught you about money, right? Was it your parents who taught you about money? Was it your teacher? Was it your friends? Was it things you saw on music videos or thing that you see in pop culture? What taught you about money? And you got to realize that there's a small percentage of the world that really understand money. And those are the people who have a lot of it and are able to have it come in day out, day in, day out, because they really understand money. But if you're getting your information from a broke person, someone who doesn't have a lot of money in the bank, they're telling you their paradigm on it. They're telling you their structure on it, their plan on it. And if you inherited those thoughts and those feelings and the plans about money, most likely you're going to end up the same as them. And for me, I don't come from wealth. I don't come from a wealthy family. And so when people are like, you got to save money, right? That's just not enough. And that's not a good plan. Sure, we all need to save, but I figured out other things in another video that I did. You can look it up on our channel here on how to put money to work. It's a lot better than saving it in the bank because the bank is not on our side. And you might think that, you might argue with that. But then again, right, that's teachings of people who are not making a lot of money, who don't have that financial freedom. Another thing was I learned a lot about money from not having a lot. So that gave me a scarcity mindset. I know how it feels to not have food in the fridge. I know how it feels to turn on the light and then the lights don't turn on, right? That it's telling me already that this world is tough, that this world is about struggle, this world is about pain. I seen on a lot of the superhero shows and TV shows and movies that the bad guy is always the rich guy, right? Even a lot of the movies, it's the evil, greedy guy that is who we got to watch out for. And I didn't realize that my education and my feeling towards money was being indoctrinated in me, that this money was evil, that I shouldn't have a lot, that it's a lot easier to be happy if you don't have it. And experiencing both worlds, I know I put my family through a lot of scarcity, a lot of poverty situations. And then I also put my family in a lots of experience of abundance. And I would choose to have money than not have money. And I guarantee you that you could be happy, healthy, humble, and you could be grateful with a lot of money. You don't have to be poor to feel those feelings. And so evaluate your relationship with money and realize, is it serving you, right? Is it serving you to try get you to the next level? And if it's not, then you have to develop a new relationship. What leads me to secret number 3 is to start having a better relationship with money. And that is to talk to yourself and really sit down with yourself and realize, if you were to have, what are all the good things you could do with it? Over the past 4 years, I was able to give out about $500,000 back to my community. Because of my relationship with money, I'm able to do this where I brought community together. I host huge events. I give out hundreds of thousands of dollars per event and feed the elders and give a lot of money to the younger tiny tot kids 7 and under, just for participating in the things that I do. I'm able to feed a lot of people. I'm able to help a lot of people out with their groceries and their, when my friends and loved ones are going through hard times, I'm able to help and support them. And that would not be possible. I would never been able to do that had I figured out this money game. To do good in the world like that, and to develop language programs for that are languages that are not a lot of kids are learning how to speak. It could go extinct if we don't learn it. But because I have money, I'm able to reach hundreds of thousands of people with language and help bring it back. But that's not possible, right? So these are the good things you could do with money. I'm able to also take my family on vacations. I'm able to eat amazing food that I would never get to experience. I'm able to see the world, places I never thought I would have ever been. And that was only possible because I got money. And the reason why I got money was because my relationship changed with money. And I started to realize that it is actually a good thing to have a lot of money. It's actually a really good thing because I could do a lot of good things with it. So imagine yourself of all the good things you could do and realize that if you're a selfish person right now, having a lot more money is just going to make you a more selfish person. If you're a generous person right now with little bit of money, imagine how generous you're going to be with a lot of money. These are the things that you got to realize. And when you have that good relationship with money, by saying you're a money magnet, you enjoy money, money enjoys you, you attract money 24 hours a day, and you keep repeating these type of things to yourself, you're going to realize that your relationship with money will start to change. And when you do these 3 things that I talked about in this video, that you're going to watch and feel more abundance come to you. And that's 100% guarantee. It happened for me where I got out of the hood. I got out of the place and I made my way to my dream home in a mansion, in my dream motor home as well, driving in the summer, driving around in the vehicles I want to drive in, staying in hotels I want to stay in, eating the food I want to eat, and hanging out with the people I love. So if you enjoyed this video and it really helped you out, hit that like, subscribe, follow button, and follow for more. Thank you.